Hello. Full moon energy, anybody? Are you feeling it? Yes, we are coming up to 24 degrees in Aries, full moon on Thursday. Let's talk a little bit about this. And I'm naming this Who Moved My Food Dish and the Terror of Uncertainty. So, how much uncertainty have you been feeling in the last several weeks, 2 months? That has been percolating. It's been shifting. You've been cleaning out your emotional closet and your karmic areas with the full moon in Pisces that we had a month ago. And the dynamic has been what's been highlighted is the relationship dynamic with the eclipse in Libra. And now here we are with it's not an eclipse, but we have a full moon in Aries that is positioned in a cardinal grand cross. So let's talk about what a square is, what it feels like, and that helps me understand what I'm dealing with in my life, and it will help you position things like, well, oh, this is why this has felt so intense. Um, uh, I should introduce myself, and I rarely do. I am Tamara Childs. I am a professional intuitive consultant, and I specialize in helping highly sensitive, highly creative people clear out overwhelm and paralysis so that you can move forward on your projects, get your work out into the world, and feel vibrantly full of your own energy and excited to live a life you love. Um, so I use astrology in addition to the intuitive. And astrology is a grounding, it's sort of a map to look at what we're doing. Where is our energy? How are we expressing? And it influences the collective and it influences us individually. For highly sensitives, we have to pay attention to the map, or another way to say it is just the weather map that is happening, because we will often feel that because we have a developmental ability. We will feel that wind blowing and we will be like, wow, I'm really windy. You're not windy. You are in the wind. There's a difference. And that is some of the things that we work on together in my private consults, determining where you end, where someone else begins. What are you really wanting to create versus what are you reacting to? So let me talk about this Grand Cross. So first of all, this is a cardinal Grand Cross at the full moon. Cardinal is the energy that stimulates the beginning of a season, springtime, uh, summer, fall, winter. And so it has a lot of force. So there's a forceful energy around this full moon, of the full moon in Aries. And Aries itself is extremely pioneering, forceful. It's the image is, you ram your head up against, you're hard-headed, you want to go for it. And so there's an energy here within the moonscape, or the emotions. The emotional energy is one of willfulness. Um, because it's with Chiron. We've been working with Chiron and Aries for a while. There is a healing of the individuality inside of you. There's a healing of your ability to, wield your own judgment in the world and go for something. And you get to determine, you get to trust yourself. You trust that it's not broken, that your leadership potential is not broken, that you are okay. So think of this this lunar energy as something where you are correcting, you are fixing, you are resolving anything around a feeling of woundedness, like you can't be your authentic self. You're not allowed to be big, bold, and out there, right? And everyone has Aries in a different position in the chart. I'm speaking in terms of the symbology of that energy. And you may not have personal planets in Aries, but you still have an Aries sector. So just think of it that way. So we have this moon coming up, and a lot of the issues that you're going to be feeling have to do with relationships. You in relationship to someone else. Will they let you be who you are? Do they see who you are? Do you have to be invisible to them? Are you playing a role? Are you not allowed to be your authentic, real self and just show up the way that you really are? Do they have blinders on? Do they accept parts of you but not other parts? These are relational issues that come up. Um, and it's really, you're going to be looking at this. This is how we're going to experience the full moon, is we're going to experience it through relationships, through the lens of how I can be myself or not, how I can lead or not, how visible am I or not as my authentic self. Does that make sense? So, so we've got the full moon with Chiron, we've got the sun in Libra active, active with everything that we were looking at in the new moon eclipse. I'm going to start something new by severing things that no longer serve. So we're continuing forward, new relationships, new people, activation, very active, cardinality is active. It's starting something, the power and force it takes for a plant to push up through the frozen ground is very, very strong. And so you're going to be finding that there's a lot of force in the world. There's a lot of force in you right now, and in your Libra sector, in your Aries sector, opposing. Now we have Mars in Cancer, another part of the cross, wanting what it wants in terms of emotional security. I'm going to protect what's mine. I am going to defend my home territory, my most cherished landscape. What is that for you? That's going to come up in your in the Marshall area. Mars is the force to we don't Mars in Cancer is not considered a strong position, but it's strong enough to be like, I'm going to send a zinger your way if I have to defend myself, right? It's very protective, and it still is Mars, and Mars is gonna has claws even in Cancer. Mars is opposing, so the other side of the square is Pluto in Capricorn. And this is our last time with Pluto in Capricorn. So this is like our last cardinal grand cross with Pluto in Capricorn. If you think about it, that's really interesting. So you know, power dynamics going on. Who has the power? Who's in charge? What are you allowed to do that is protecting your own interests against some sort of authority or, the man, as they used to say in the 60s. It's really a lot of force and energy. And so, um, while this Grand Cross is active right now, definitely a couple of days before the full moon and after, it's really a time to be aware of those energies in yourself, in your Capricorn area, your Libra sector, your Aries sector, and your Cancer. So, because you're going to feel, and everyone else around you is going to be a little bit riled up, and that's really important. Let me show you the Grand Cross that's my Grand Cross right there. So, who moved my food dish is a term that I use when we are stretching our comfort zones. And right now we're stretching our comfort zones. I often say that because that's how I live my life. And I encourage it because that's how we create more in life, is to push out in that way. Um, it's also about something dynamic being born in you and your life right now, through the moving and the adjusting of the comfort zone. My one recommendation would be, besides having compassion, love, respect for yourself and for others at this time, calming your nerves, because during a time like this, you need some rescue remedy. I don't have mine out, but um, the other piece of it is start to realize where you are inventing into and crystallizing into. I was just thinking about Saturn when I said that because Saturn's the crystallizer, and Saturn is supporting, Mars, the wish in Mars to um to take care of. And so, but remember, we have this crystallizing influence, and the way forward is to continually notice where you abdicate your boundaries, your sovereignty, and just say no and start to allow, even if it's uncomfortable, allow yourself to be who you really are and do what you really want to do. Um, not harming others, of course, but just, you know, it's undeniable with a cross like this, with a full moon, dynamic stuff is going to go down, and it's going to go down in the field of relationships. It's going to go down probably in our broader culture, but I do this just for the individual. So those are my thoughts on the Cardinal Grand Cross, the full moon in Aries. I always think around a full moon, you can do some art, do some, self-care, and do some real watching of, wow, I am really different right now, and I'm turning into who I really want to become, my next version, if you want to say it that way, or just saying, I'm growing a new limb right now, and I'm expressing that.